So, welcome to episode 4.
The festive edition.
Yeah, the Christmas edition. This is a Christmas special. Myself and Dr Oculus are on our way again to Milton Keynes. But why are we going down to Milton Keynes?
See how far it is?
Yeah, just for a ride out in the fog.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all we're doing. Oh, and there is that fun every game in Unreal Engine is VR thing happening.
Yeah, there's an event not far from Milton Keynes. It's the Unreal Engine VR mod that everyone's been waiting for. We're going for a demo. We're also meeting some other VR content creators, and we're hoping to meet up with Alex, the better half of Between Realities.
I'll tell Steve you said that.
Pretty much of the podcast anyway. You might have known in our last podcast we actually went to the same place and we met up with Skiva and Eric's. My phone's doesn't like the fog.
Grim foggy day here in the United Kingdom with a tropical -2 degrees Celsius, which is like -7,000 for, or I don't know what American temperature. Our zero is there like 30 something, right? So yeah, you can do the math, people. You can figure it out.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, real cold.
And it's foggy. In fact, before I came out, I saw a bit of snow.
I've come from snow. Yeah, it's further up north. It's snowing. I think Mac, who's coming today, he put up a picture of him walking his dog, and they properly got snow. So yeah, it's heading this way. I think the winter is coming, and other references that are now incredibly dated.
You know nothing.
You know, no Jon Snow.
So what's new? What have you been playing? Are you excited for VR?
What's new? We have not had a podcast in a good few months, and the world has just exploded in VR.
It has. In fact, it's been an amazing month for VR, November, and I know December is going to be good as well. But
you know what you could do? You could plunk the Quest 3 on and just record the pass-through.
That's true.
But yes, so what has happened? The Quest 3 has happened.
Did we have the Quest 3 last time we went to Milton Keynes?
No, I don't think so.
So since the last podcast, the Quest 3's been out.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That is a real tentpole moment for VR, I think.
Are you enjoying that one?
I've done my usual. I've played the first hour and then not touched it since, because I have a massive backlog. I need to, next year, I'm going to double down on just making VR stuff, because I'm just there's just not enough time in the week, in the month to do stuff.
I'm getting to the point now where I've got so many games, I'm managing to play for half an hour and then that's it. I'll never play them again. But I've spent many hours in Powerwash.
Yes.
Over 20 hours in Powerwash.
I'm
loving that game.
There's a patch coming out next week, isn't there, that's hopefully going to bring a good few different quality of life improvements to that game, because the core mechanic of it is there and it's fine, but it's got issues.
A little bit janky, a little bit performance-wise. There's some issues with it.
Yeah, it's definitely designed for a Quest 2, not 3. That's certainly a thing. The movement on it is broken. Don't even think about using a ladder in multiplayer. I don't know whether you've
not even tried multiplayer.
Yeah, if in multiplayer, if you grab a ladder and then try and use the smooth locomotion, you basically start flying and you can't land. I ended up stuck outside of the map, and Paul was cleaning the skate park for me, and I was like, mate, you're doing this on your own. I can maybe clean a little bit from the other side of the wall. I'm gonna have to just restart the game, because I'm stuck outside. I can't do anything. So yeah, it's got its moments.
Well, that could have been handy for me, because at one stage I was cleaning the bonus gnome fountain, and I could not figure out how to get to the top of the fountain. The ladders wouldn't reach that far, so the ladders would only go to like the top part of the fountain, and the bit I needed to clean and inside the bowl I could not get into.
Yeah.
And then I had a clever idea. I put on the teleport mode,
Yes.
and I could teleport up to the top.
The flat game has a jump button, but the VR game doesn't.
No, that's true.
And it makes you think that maybe when developing it, they've spent their entire time using teleport and not smooth loco. So the end result is it's a little bit broken.
I think that's what happened as well. I even looked in the control menu scheme to see if there was a jump button.
Yeah.
The only way I could get up there was to jump onto a gnome, climb on his head, and then jump across into the bowl. There's no way of getting across. The teleport worked a treat then.
Yeah.
There's a funny story as well, because a big shout out to the Recentered podcast, Lee, Gary and a Fluke, because they hate Powerwash, and Lee was telling them how I love Powerwash, so I made a point. I recorded me washing for 4 hours the golf course. I blame them for making me wash it.
They hate Powerwash Simulator?
And it was bliss, mate. Absolute bliss. They reckon Powerwash is a waste of time, wasted life.
Yeah, Recentered, we cannot be friends. How can you hate Powerwash Sim? I mean, alright, everything's subjective and it's fine, but no!
Especially Lee with his OHD. his OCD, sorry. What's OHD? What's that?
An overhead display? I don't know. But yeah, so no, it's so when Endream said they were doing Ghostbusters, I was like, yes, which we'll cover that in a moment. But then when they said they were also going to be responsible for Powerwash, I was like, oh, now I want Powerwash more than I want Ghostbusters. I'm very, very much looking forward to Powerwash Sim.
I keep finding myself going back into Powerwash and just spending an hour, playing the game, listening to podcasts. And Gary makes me laugh because Gary will spend hours and hours in Elite Dangerous just flying around, which I find boring, waste of life, swings and roundabouts, mate.
The thing with the Powerwash for me is I'm stood there and I'm cleaning the play park with all the dinosaur and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have a car outside that needs power washing.
Yes.
No, I'm going to stay here and do this. Like, I'll do it in the game, but in real life, I was like, I don't want to. So, yeah, that was the thing for me. I was thinking I could be wasting my time doing something more productive.
Have you seen that U-boat game? The one in the submarine.
So I have a key, but too many things not enough. Like my to-do list is that long. I've had a key for Here There Be Goblins, Now There Be Goblins.
Right.
And that's on my to-do list, and I've still not got to that. That game's like a year old at this point. The devs are probably like, asshole. My to-do list is incredibly long.
Yeah, I've got about 300 games still to play.
I stopped counting, let's put it that way. And I get new offers every day, every week I get new stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally want to play that, and I'm really enthusiastic about it. I just have so many other things to do. I've not even touched the bigger games as well. The sniper game that came out.
The Sniper Elite Winter Warrior, is it? Is it Winter Warrior, or was it?
I don't know, the Winter Soldier. So no, sorry, yeah, the U-boat game. I dragged you away from that. Yeah, what?
Yeah, there's a part in the game, I was recording it, and some Spitfires came over, and they hit the submarine, and the captain said that'll need a clean. Straight away, I'm like, can I power wash it? Can I power wash the whole submarine?
Yeah, no, I dig Powerwash Sim. I do. I even jank and all. I'm still in. I still love it. There's certain elements of it because what they've done is, unlike things like House Flipper, they've done like a full-on port of the flat screen game. Like it's exactly what you want it to be, the flat screen game in VR.
Do you know if we're getting the DLC? I want the DLC. I want the Back to the Future.
I don't know. I've it's one of those things, you ask the question and it's like, we're not saying yes, we're not saying no. It may or it may not happen. I've often wondered if there is a way to get the PC DLC and just shoehorn it into the Quest version.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because I would totally buy it for that.
If not, I'm thinking of just getting Reshade out, play the flat version in Reshade in 3D and do the DLC that way.
Yeah, I've started dabbling with Reshade. Not massively, but ever since I got the Xreal Airs, I could shoehorn PC games in 3D into the Xreal Airs. And then I thought, well, I could also just do this in a VR headset. So now I've started using, my stream the other day was me playing flat screen games in virtual desktop. And while I'm sat there streaming, people are like, Valve have released Steam Link on Quest.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so we're abandoning virtual desktop and we're going to explore this new avenue of stuff. So the Steam Link using the Quest Pro uses eye tracking. So I went and grabbed the Quest Pro and was like, right, let's try this out. And sure enough, I put on F123 and the PC defaulted everything to the highest settings, which is not what it should do. That was good, and I was getting a good solid sort of 60 FPS on the highest settings on my 3080, whereas Book on his 3090 still wasn't able to use the highest settings. So I was very, very impressed with what I had. I think it's a really good thing. I don't think it's a replacement for virtual desktop though.
No, do you think virtual desktop still beats it?
Well, I mean, for a kickoff, the whole non-gaming stuff, naturally virtual desktop does do that. So, for example, if ever I wanted to watch one of the fantastic 3D PD videos, I can't do that in Steam Link, so I have to use virtual desktop.
I tried for 5 hours to get Steam Link to work, but then I realised it was my router. I had the same problems with Airlink afterwards, and then I left it 5-6 hours, came back, and my wife said there'd been problems with the router anyway, and also there'd been a solar flare that day, so that can affect, Wi-Fi. But then I tried it in the afternoon and it worked fine.
Okay.
I did get Steam Link to work in the end.
I was going to say, a lot of people were having problems with it, and it's because they've not set their Steam library to be remote playable. That's one of the big things that people were not doing.
I left mine on default, so how does that work?
Well, because you've got your Steam Deck, it's highly likely that it's already been set up.
So yeah, because you can remotely...
You can just stream straight from your PC with Steam Deck without installing locally on
that makes sense.
The device.
Yeah, so I done it automatically, not realise I needed to do it.
Yeah, that's it. You probably already had the setting turned on, but some people don't have it turned on, and they're like, this doesn't work. Well, no, it doesn't work because you need to turn on remote play. That was one of the things that people are having issues with. Glad you're not one of them.
So you enjoying the Quest 3?
Yeah. I've been working on a video which I've spent a good sort of 5 or 6 hours on, and I've now scrapped.
Why?
Do you know I make the polystyrene heads to store my headset?
Yeah.
I've carved the eye hole out of one of them and inserted a camera in there.
So you turn it into a Terminator?
So, yes. And the thing of that was that I can use that to get through the lenses of all of my headsets.
Right.
I was comparing the Quest 2, the Quest 3, the Quest Pro, the Index, to see which one was better through the lenses.
Right.
And I just really didn't like the results. So after spending hours upon hours in Kayak Mirage, because that was the game I decided would have the most repeatable results, I scrapped the whole thing.
What did you not like, quality-wise? Was the video not turn out?
The web camera I was using just didn't capture the true... as you jump from headset to headset to headset, basically, the Index is kind of the worst.
Right.
But on video, it didn't actually reflect that. The first problem I had was the refresh rate. I'm recording the video, and you can see the scan lines on the video, so I had to first resolve that issue, which took a fair bit of time.
Right.
So I sorted all that out, and then as I started properly recording stuff, the web camera I started using, with it being 4K, started overheating when it's wrapped inside of the polystyrene head.
That's not good.
In fact, no, the first time I did it with a 1080p camera, and then I was like, no, this isn't picking up the difference enough, I want 4K. So then I pivoted to the 4K camera, but that got too hot. So then I pivoted to another 4K camera, but that one's just, well, there's a reason I replaced it, it's terrible. So yeah, in the end I've just scrapped it.
So now you need the 8K camera.
I just need a better way of recording this. I think what I may try and do is 3D print a stand that I can mount all of the headsets on and then just screw the camera into that, so it's got plenty of breathing room.
Right.
But at this point in time, like when the Quest 3 came out, that video would have been very useful and fun and good.
Yeah.
2-3 months later, I don't think people are going to give it.
And you would have been riding the hype.
Exactly. So I don't think people are going to care now. For science, I was also going to chuck it on the PSVR 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the thing was that it was all going to be on the PC, it was all going to be running the same settings. I was going to run the default resolution for the headset, and then everything was cabled. I was using a link cable, so everything was as close to the same as I could get it.
Yeah.
But obviously the PSVR 2, I can't run that on the PC, so I could include it for fun, but I wouldn't be able to include it in my final results. The end result is my eyes tell me that the Quest 3 is one of the best visual headsets I have.
Yeah, well, my Quest 3 has now replaced my Rift S. I've not touched my Rift S since Quest 3 because it does everything. I can connect it to the PC with a link cable. Airlink's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've got no latency, no lag, no compression with Airlink. I did have a bit of compression with Steam Link, but I think that's my router. It was still playing up a little bit. It wasn't perfect because when I repeated the same thing on Airlink, I got a bit of compression as well. I was playing games in my bedroom using the Airlink and Steam Link, no problems at all.
Yeah.
I did not even notice any lag. My controllers worked exactly when I wanted them to work.
I'll say this, making a big ass screen and playing flat screen games in a VR headset has also become my favorite way of playing games.
How big's your screen?
My normal screen, it's a 4K screen and it's a 47 inch.
Yeah.
But chucking on the Quest 3 and playing in virtual desktop, I just kind of like that more.
Do you use the pass-through as well?
Yes.
So you can see everything around you?
Yes. It's stupid. It's absolutely, especially when I make the screen big enough that I can't even see the world around me.
It's like owning a monitor that you would never ever be able to afford. It's like having a cinema-sized monitor in your house.
Yeah, I think I've got the Xreal Airs to thank for that.
How big's that screen on that one?
The Xreal Air, so the viewing angle, it's 120. You can go bigger if you pin it to a space, but that means you have to turn your head to see the sides and things like that. So you can go bigger than 120, but any higher than 120 and it starts to leave the projectable frame. It's huge. It is absolutely brilliant, and I love those things. What you can see in them, even in bright light, is ridiculously impressive. I love those things.
Do you use them a lot then?
All the time. It's just about any sort of remotely mundane task and things like that. Leaf blower. I had the leaf blower out the other weekend. I was just getting all the leaves up in the back garden because, you know, trees are a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I was watching Netflix the entire time.
Nice.
It was awesome.
That's something I've been looking into, is using the Rokid at the gym when I'm on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So I can watch movies and Netflix. That's like another perfect use case scenario.
So one thing I've noticed with the Xreal is that some of the games that are available for Tilt 5 you can actually buy on Android and play in the Xreal Airs.
Do you get the same effect as well with the table and the 3D?
I don't know. I'm very, very tempted. Part of me is like, I've already paid for this game one time, and part of me is just like, yeah, I don't care, I kind of want to see it. So I honestly think that the Xreal Airs could very easily just replace the Tilt 5, and it's cheaper, it's a better quality product, and it works. Like, it just works, and you can run it from an Android phone. It's the reason why I've got this phone.
Yeah.
I really do dig those things in a big bad way.
What else have you been playing? I'm trying to recall what's come out. There's been so much. We had Assassin's Creed, didn't we?
We had Assassin's
That's
Creed.
good. I'm liking that.
So, Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Yes, I made an announcement. I proclaimed that, no. So, Ghostbusters, they announced that End Dreams are doing that, and I was like, this is amazing. My childhood fantasies will come true. And then the game came out, and everybody
3.
was underwhelmed by it. And so, I don't want to buy it.
I found it quite repetitive. The same thing over and over and over again. I mean, the only difference is if you play with the multiplayer, in the core gameplay, it's kind of repetitive, and you can see it's just aimed for the younger generation as well.
Well, this is the thing. So everybody seems to be fairly not very complimentary about the game. So between me having the childhood love of Ghostbusters I don't know if that can carry me through it not being what I want it to be.
See, I had more fun playing the Steam version, the flat game that came out in
Which
Reshade. That was in 3D.
Which one? The Spirits Unleashed?
It might have been, yeah.
So there's two of them, because there's the Ghostbusters game, which I've always basically said...
That's an old one, isn't it?
Yeah. That came out on Xbox 360, but then it got remastered as well. So that game, I've bought and played that game on 3 different consoles. I love that game. To me, that game is Ghostbusters 3.
Right.
It is absolutely the closest thing we had to a Ghostbusters 3, and then Ghostbusters Afterlife is Ghostbusters 4. I don't know if my childhood love of Ghostbusters can get me through the jank. Or it's not even janky, is it? It's just boring.
I would like to have seen like more of a campaign, more like mission based, where you go in.
Is it just like after the fourth, go in, you grind?
Yeah, you level up some weapons.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that as well, having a campaign, more of a story to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what Ghostbusters really
so it
is.
seems to be lacking that story element.
You see, I was also on the fence of, if I do buy it, do I go Meta or do I go PlayStation?
I'd say wait for a sale.
This is where I've landed. Yeah. So it's Schrodinger's Ghostbusters game at the minute.
I mean, you might like it.
Exactly. It's still got the potential of being a good game, while ever I've not tried it.
A lot of the ghosts don't feel like ghosts. You've got a Slimer type character, but it's not. I expect for the license you'd have the original characters in there, but there's some weird ghosts. Why is that in there?
This is the thing that bugs me. So, presumably, if I remember right, Sony own the Ghostbusters franchise.
Yeah, they do. And it's down to them. That's why content creators could not get a key.
Yeah.
It's down to Sony.
Well, if they were publishing it, that would definitely make sense. But no, so if Sony own the rights to Ghostbusters, to use Ghostbusters, that makes sense. And I guess they don't own the rights to Peter and Egon and the Firehouse and Ecto-1.
Yeah, Ecto-1's in there.
Is it though? Because all of the artwork I've seen it's a car that's white, but it's got like a massive thing in the middle of its bonnet, and
yeah, something on the front's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's not the same iconic Ecto-1. So I'm wondering. That was actually really good. I'm wondering if Sony were not able to license those elements, and that's why the game had to be Ghostbusters in name, but that's it.
Wasn't Dreams working on some other games at the same time though as well? It felt like a group of developers have been split into two, and one group has said, right, you work on Ghostbusters, you work on the other one, and I think that came across in the game as well. It didn't feel like a full product. It didn't feel like a full team had been working on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes... Well, the thing is, Dreams, they've got multiple different software houses all over the place, haven't they? So just because they're all Dreams, it could have been... Like Ubisoft have like Ubisoft Montreal and Stoke-on-Trent or whatever the names are. They've got all these different versions of Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So it could all be that Dreams gave that to X studio that's not the studio that normally does like your Synapse and your Fract. From what I gather, it's technically sound. As far as VR games go, it's not broken for VR.
It works. It's just very repetitive.
Yeah.
When I was playing this guy, and he's like, he'd been playing for 20 odd hours, and he loved it. But he loved the social element. He loved the going in randoms, and
I never go in with the general public. It's something I never ever do. It's why PvP games are kind of wasted on me unless I can fill a lobby with friends. That's not going to save the game for me.
Are there any big games coming out that you're looking forward to?
I mean, I'd be daft not to obviously address the zombie in the room. Arizona Sunshine is out next Thursday? Tuesday. It's out on Tuesday.
My embargo's soon as well.
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that game.
Well, all I can say is, if you think Assassin's Creed was good, then we've got some treats on the way.
Yeah, Well, I mean, I have it installed on my PlayStation. I can't stream it until the embargo is up.
I've been playing it to get some impressions videos done on PC and Quest 3, but my plan is to do a complete playthrough as well.
Yeah.
But then something else has just popped up last night that I couldn't wait to jump into, and I can't say what the game is, but I actually found a bug in the game, and the developers are fixing the bug ready for launch.
Oh, good to know.
So that's my claim to fame. Big massive game coming out, and I found a major bug in my playthrough.
So yeah, Arizona Sunshine, absolutely. Just that's the one that's on my radar at the minute.
I recently played through the first game again. I actually recorded it, all the game and all the DLC as well.
Yeah, I was sat watching you. I was like, this is a good idea, because my memory of it is not as good as it could be.
It's probably a good idea because number 2, basically same mechanic. So.
And you say it took about 3 hours to just get fire through it all, right?
3 hours to do the main campaign, and then 3 hours to do both DLCs. I also think there's a lot of hype at the moment for PlayStation VR 2. We just had the Resident Evil 4 VR trailer. We've got Vertigo 2 coming. We've got Arashi, Sin Castle of Sin, Final Edition.
So I bought Arashi Castle of Sin on a physical copy with the signed by the devs.
Well, I've got access to the new one that's coming, that's been remastered. They've redone it for PlayStation VR 2. I think they've redone it for Quest 3 as well.
My thing with that game was, as I was playing it, I realised that it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. So then what I ended up doing was just sort of wandering around being like, oh, there's a bad guy.
Kill him.
Doop-a-doop-a-doop, dink.
Yeah.
And then walking away. The video that I put out for it is literally called A Song in the Key of Dink. Because I just walk up to people and just go, dink, and then walk away. And that was it for me. So I was like, this game is fine, but it turns out not that great.
I've not tried the remastered version yet. I'm going to wait a bit closer to the embargo day. I've got too much on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my head around, when do I find the time to edit all these videos?
Need an editor, that's it. If I had somebody that would edit my videos for me, I'd have videos out all the time.
Yeah.
Problem is, I also don't make any money from the videos.
No.
So I can't employ somebody to edit the videos for me. So
that would be my next step, but then again, I'm a little bit apprehensive of somebody taking over my work as an editor, because I tend to cut my videos in a certain way. I don't know if you noticed, but every time I cut a bit out of my video, I add a filter that blends it in, and that can take hours and hours just to edit all these little clips together.
Yeah.
I don't think people realise that editing for me takes me 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
And that's the most time consuming part of making these videos. That's one thing I refuse to do, is swear in videos.
Yeah.
I will never swear in a video unless it's so good I can't help myself.
Sometimes maybe the horror games may elicit a swear word or 12. So yeah, and of course that's such a natural reaction. You're like, I'll just stick a beep over it, or a horse neighing or something.
You only get that reaction in a horror game as well.
Yeah.
I'm still amazed at people who watch these content creators that play horror games and then they pretend they're scary on a flat screen. I can watch a normal horror film, I can play a normal horror game in flat screen, I don't get scared of one bit. But as soon as I'm in a VR headset, I'm in that atmosphere, I'm in the world, and something's looming towards you, my primitive brain takes over, and it's like fight or flight.
Which most of the time the only option they'll leave you is flight.
And screaming.
Yeah. Screaming, manly screams.
Manly screams.
Yeah, I've never touched Five Nights.
Oh, you want to try them?
I don't. That's the thing, I don't.
Five Nights at Freddy's types horror games are very, very gimmicky, but the build-up, you know there's a jump scare coming. The most scary part of the game is the build-up.
Yes.
Not knowing when it's going to be in your face.
See, one of the things I find with horror games, that build-up starts usually about a week before I start the stream. And I start to freak myself out in the horror games. Phasmophobia, for example. I terrified myself into not wanting to play that game. And then when I started playing Phasmophobia with all of the other guys, it turned out that once I'd got caught by the monster once, I didn't care.
And you're with other people as well, that helps.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Very possible.
If you try playing that game on your own, you'll pants.
Well, I've played back in the early Decay 2 days, there was quite a few different horror games. This is Affected was one of them.
Affected the Manor.
And that, I was playing that, and I allowed it to get into my head, and that was one of the first sort of things I found in VR that was scary. There was Affected the Manor, and then there was another one that was, I can't remember what it was called. Basically, you were sat there in a room in like a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and you had a camera pointed at you, and you were looking around, and when you looked at the monitor, you could see stuff on the monitor that was coming to murder you, but then you would look around to see what the camera was looking at, and it wasn't there, and it messed with you so bad. It was fantastic. Sure that like back in those days, everything was just a quick 5-minute experience. So I can't remember what it was called. I will have to find it out and send you the link. It was fantastic. It was a short little experience, but yeah, these kinds of things are what sort of freaked me out. And then nowadays, I've played Affected on 4 or 5 different platforms.
Yeah.
And it's still a great game, and if anybody ever says, I want to try something scary in VR, that's probably my go-to still.
Yeah.
It changes every time, or at least it did. It's gone through massive changes since then, which there's a new one coming out, isn't there? Like the hospital or the...
There's a new Affected game in the works, yeah. We've also got VR versions of Madison and Mortuary Assistant, and that's because a bunch of us played those games in 3D.
Yeah.
We got DMs from the developers saying we love the videos you made of our game in 3D. We are now going to give you VR support for those games. People might scoff at me playing games in 3D, but because of what we're doing, it's giving developers the potential of what's possible with their game, and they are exploring VR, which is a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking of horror, you just reminded me, I played Richies Plank Experience in the Quest 3. This is the Quest 3 version, and I was terrified. Now, I've not had vertigo in a game for like many years because I'm used to the height, but there's something about this game on the Quest 3 because of the quality of the Quest 3, the lenses, how sharp and clear it is. My legs went to jelly as soon as I stepped onto that lift, and I felt scared. That's the first time I felt scared, and the first time I've vertigo many years in a VR headset.
So I was testing the new DLC for Richies Plank.
Oh yeah?
The Canyon. And yeah, it's the first time I've played it. It's one of those games that I always thought, oh yeah, I'll get this, and I've got a plank of wood at home that I'm going to sand and varnish, and that's going to be that's going to be the Richies Plank experience. So I was saving until I'd varnished my plank.
That sounds rude, by the way.
I was going to say yet another euphemism sounding thing. I was going to save until I got the game out, and then one of the things I always had is that we were like, when we have people over, I can get people in Richies Plank experience and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But then Corona hit and nobody ever comes around anymore. It's brilliant. Yeah, I never really got into the game before until I started testing the DLC. I don't know what it was like beforehand, but I did very much like what I saw in the later version. The stepping into the lift in your room, like in the mixed reality part of it. Yeah.
I had my lift in the garden.
I was trying to think of where I could plonk that lift down. The Quest 3 is making me want to make videos again.
Yeah. Funny thing is as well, I had the lift in the garden. I could actually hide behind the lift, and my brain thought I was hiding behind a proper real object, so I was like putting my fingers up to the camera.
Meanwhile, the neighbours are like, look at this f***ing idiot.
What's he doing?
There are 5 nights going back to the pizzeria or whatever it's called coming soon as well.
There's a fan-made 5 Nights at Freddy's game come out that's been built from the ground up for VR. I did a video on that a few days ago, but that's a fan-made one.
Right.
I think there's a new Five Nights at Freddy's VR game coming. I know there's an indie one, it's the sister one.
Mm-hmm.
The person who made that sister one, he's also made another one, but it's not ready yet.
Right.
He did have it available to download, but then he took it off the download for some reason. There was a problem somewhere. So I'm just waiting for him to upload this new Five Nights at Freddy's fan-made one to jump into that as well. You want to try one, mate? I mean, just experience the terror, you know.
It's that's the thing. It's one of those things that I've played a fair amount of horror games, and I generally big them up more in my head than what they actually are. So, like the Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, I guess. After playing the game, once I've been scared a few times, it can get a bit too much and you become numb to it. So by the end of that game, I was just walking around, I was like, oh look, there's a severed head! Like, I just didn't care. I get scared before I go in, and then by the time I leave, I don't care. But at this point in time, the Five Nights, I know it's just full of a million jump scares. Like, Five Nights is just a jump scare game, that's all it is.
I would say play the original Five Nights at Freddy's, the VR game that came out, because that's got a lot more variety to it.
Yeah.
Not just in that little room with the cameras, you've got like bonus games where you have to repair
the robots and stuff.
Yeah, that's a much better game. I'd probably say if you're going to try Five Nights at Freddy's, try that one.
I've seen people, one of the problems with that is that I know I'm going to get about an hour, 2 hours worth of content out of it, and it's 30 quid. I'm not spending that.
It's on sale quite a lot though. Steam
never
sale.
Enough for what I'm going to get from it, and I'm basically buying it for everybody else, not for me. So I'm just never gonna.
Well, you could try the sister one. I think that's free, and it's on like it's on an indie site. You can download it. I'll send you the link. If there's a game that you've been playing the most, what game is it? What game is it? Apart from Powerwash.
If you take Powerwash out of the equation, I'm struggling to find an answer. Because that's the one that I'm like, yeah, I need to get into this. I need to play this.
I've been exploring the mixed reality games, and I did real VR fishing in a real fishing spot. That's not got mixed reality, by the way, but
no,
that just came to my mind for some reason.
Yeah.
That TrackCraft looks quite good. I've not tried that yet.
That's awesome. That was one of the first things I did when I got the Quest Pro. I installed that on it.
That's the one where you can use mixed reality. You build like a little Scalextric track.
Yeah,
you've got the little cars that you can remote control around your room.
It comes with a lot of different tracks built in anyway. It's only a demo at the minute, I think.
Yeah, but aren't people submitting their own tracks as well?
There is also a level editor, yeah. So you don't have to make your own tracks. You can just play the tracks that are there. And it's really, really fun. It's one of those that you love to play with, difficult to master. I think I mentioned it on the VRverse, or it might have been on Between Realities. Yeah, I totally dig that game. I really do like that game. It works really, really well.
Have you tried Pillow?
No, I saw you in bed with a headset on. What's the deal with that?
It's called Pillow. You have to you play games on your ceiling. It's weird because you've got like a rod in your hand, and you cast your rod, and your rod actually goes up to the ceiling. You start getting fish from the ceiling. You pull the fish from the ceiling, and somebody in real life has left a quote, a meaning of life sort of quote.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 different games designed to relax you. There's a storytelling one where you go in. There's like one where you read a book and you change the story. It's really cool to see your ceiling being turned into like a whirlpool.
Okay.
And you lay down and you just relax, and it's different.
Yeah.
Worth a try.
Free or?
I think I got sent a copy.
Yeah.
Don't ask me about prices for games, because
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. People are like, oh, is this worth buying? I'm like, it's worth getting for free. How much is it to buy in the store? And then all I'll say is like, if I was paying for this, if I'd paid £10, I'd be very happy. If I'd paid £15, I'd be all right. If I'd paid £20, I'd be disappointed. So that's generally what I'll say in those senses. And then people are like, oh, great, well, it's only £8, so I'll buy it. That, they can sort of make the mind up on that basis when I'm streaming.
Did you try Foglands?
Yes.
I wasn't a fan.
I hated it.
Felt rushed. It felt like they had an idea, but they didn't know how to implement it, so they went down this weird... Again, that was very similar to... That gave me similar to Ghostbusters vibes, where very samey levels.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be randomly generated levels, but in the space of one recording session, I came across the same level.
Oh, many, yeah. It's basically, it's like 7 or 8 different rooms that they then just randomly stitch together, I think.
Yeah. And in one play session, I came across the same room twice.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're supposed to be random.
The same room on many different occasions.
And combat was terrible for me. Lots of lag when I was shooting.
So you were playing the Quest version then, yeah?
I played on the Quest 3, yeah.
Yes.
But I think it was the Quest 2 version.
I played the PSVR version. So shooting and lag-wise, that wasn't an issue.
Right.
But massive loading screens between rooms.
Oh yeah, the double rooms.
So frustrating.
I did not understand the double rooms. Why go through one door to go to a waiting area, to go through another door to get to the level? Why not just go through one door into the next level?
Yeah, there was just so much of that, and there were times that you would walk through into a door, and then you get there, then it'd load, and then you'd walk around the corner and be like, oh yeah, you need something to find that you have to find elsewhere in the game to open this door. So then I had to turn around and go through the loading screen again. So frustrating. It's like so bad. On top of that, on the PSVR, the gun angle, if I'm pointing forward, I'm shooting at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I had to move my hand to an unnatural angle to shoot. So yeah, that was incredibly frustrating. The gripping things on the PSVR, I find it's very Vive-like. Like you have a button on the grip, so I'm gripping those PSVR controllers for dear life.
Yeah.
And the day after, I found I couldn't make a tight fist.
Ooh.
Because I just gripped the controllers that much for that long. Now, there is an option to toggle grip. So then you press the button and it's just gripping, you can let go of the button, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
The problem is, if you then want to reload your gun, you go down, you press the button, you grab the ammo, and then putting it into the gun is a nightmare, because then you have to start pressing buttons again to grip the... Yeah, I think they made a flat screen game that also features VR. They did not make a VR game.
No.
And that's the problem.
See, I prefer that Genotype over Foglands.
Which I've not played the full version. I was part of the beta for that. I was a tester.
For Genotype?
Yeah, and I played a good few hours in it, testing it, and technologically, it was sound, build-wise, it was perfect. It was fine. But didn't see the story all the way through. But I kind of got the impression that what I'd seen in the start of it was what I would see all the way through the game, and nothing would really change. I felt like it may potentially just become repetitive. But I've not played the full game to make that particular judgment.
No. I like the organic weapons.
Yeah, the way you would sort of change between like the shotgun and this, that, and the other. It's certainly a thing. I don't know whether... I think I would rather just grab a weapon wheel and be lazy and just pick a shotgun. Or
I gave the developers an idea for a mixed reality weapon in that game, and they loved the idea. So you never know, you might see one of my ideas come into the game. Did you see I got a new headset?
You have a new headset?
Yeah.
There is a new headset to have?
I was sent one to try. I'm going to butcher the name now.
Oh!
In fact, no, I'm not going to butcher the name. I'm going to find my video while you fill in the gaps. I'm not looking on YouTube to find the name of the headset that I've totally...
Is it a Varajo?
No.
No?
It was released before the Quest 3. Basically, put it this way, I've been spoiled.
Okay.
So these are the DPVR E4.
Oh yeah, the DPVR.
E4.
That's a headset. I will say this.
Have you tried it?
Yes, it is the best PC VR headset, visually, quality-wise, you can buy. It's not the best VR headset.
Straight away I could see screen door. I've been meaning to speak to somebody who's had to try one, because When I was playing Half-Life Alyx, it wasn't smooth. It was like a micro wobble. If I stay still, I got this weird wobble effect. You know, like someone's holding the phone and they can't quite hold it straight, and it just wobbles a little bit.
I occasionally get that with the Quest Link. There's every now and again I will play a game on Steam using a Meta headset, and it's like your body is never ever still. There is tiny movement in your hands, your body, at all times, and it's like the headset is picking up every single one of those movements and amplifying it by 1,000.
Yeah.
So that's when I switched to the Index. That's one thing I was actually going to mention earlier. Whilst the Index was probably the least visually impressive experience, which, let's face it, at this point it's a 5-year-old display, so it's allowed to be dated. That's what big screen's for.
Yeah.
Whilst it was the least visually impressive experience, it was the most simple experience to set up. Using the Quest on the head and things like that.
Yeah.
Getting AirLink working and making sure, admittedly, some of it is, content creator problems. Swapping between various different headsets at the same time is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Because you have to change the different run times in Steam, and it's all, it could work with this one or it might not work with this one. It can be a bit of a problem.
I hate that process so much, I will actually refuse headsets because I don't want to go through the process of, it's going to mess up all my Oculus software.
Yeah.
I mean, this one, I'd already agreed to it anyway. It just took them like 5 months to send it to me.
Yeah.
But I've been spoiled. Since this came out, we were at the Quest 3, and I can't go back to anything else.
No.
I tried the Rift S. The Rift S is terrible now.
Yeah.
Screen door. I agree with you. It's better than the Rift S.
Mm-hmm.
I can still see the screen door, but it's not. I'm getting a better experience on the Quest 3 with link cable.
Yeah.
And AirLink.
Yeah.
I had problems with the curtain. Do you know when you flip it up?
Yeah.
And you flip it back down again? That curtain was getting caught. Also, it's got the, like when I had problems with the Pimax crystal and I said to go in them, it was blurry for me. It's because of the focal length.
Yes.
I had the same problem with this headset, and it only became clear when I put my reading glasses on. It's got a really low focal length.
Like at least the PSVR, you can move it in and out.
You know, like on a Quest 3, I can put a Quest 3 on it super clear with my normal vision.
Yeah.
Pimax crystal, the DPVR E4, with my normal vision's blurry. I have to wear reading glasses to get it sharp and clear. So they're using different technology.
The DPVR, it desperately needs an audio solution because it's not really got one. So that was one of the things I found disappointing about it. The tracking is not as reliable as what we're used to.
No.
But it's not terrible. It's playable. I would love to jump in like Beat Saber to see how well it does with a hardcore Beat Saber session or something like that, because that's a problem at times.
But I'm just waiting for Beat Saber Mixed Reality.
It's stupid that doesn't exist. Meta are like, we've got this fantastic new headset.
They're doing nothing with Beat Saber.
Yeah.
It's coming stale.
It's a no-brainer. Oculus gone out and bought all these studios. You've got your Sansaru and your Ready at Dawn and Beat Games.
Yeah.
They released this new headset with all these exciting new features, and everybody but them are making content for it. Like, what are they doing?
Okay, I suggest we wrap it up here. She's going to be interrupting the whole podcast from now onwards.
She's a guest.
She has to stick her oar in. She's got to be noticed.
Notice, not American anymore.
Well, I've changed the voice.
I've managed to get the voice back to English.
Exit the roundabout onto A.
We're getting close to the event. The sat-nav is beginning to tell us where to go now, so she's interrupting all our conversations. I want to thank Dr Oculus again for picking me up. He's a legend. He's my chauffeur for the day. Also an amazing host.
Gets me out of the house, and no, I very much appreciate the invite and getting to do these things. You've dragged me into the VR community, not kicking and screaming, but yeah, it's...
You would have done it anyway without me.
I didn't even know it existed.
I didn't.
So there you go.
Like Dr. Oculus said, we love going to these events.
Absolutely.
So any developers, if you've got any like big projects coming up that you want us to check out, give us a buzz.
Definitely. Yeah, I have car, will travel.
If we don't see you before, have a good Christmas and a very good New Year.
Yes, merry festive times to all.
Hopefully we should be back in the 2024. Hopefully we should be able to talk about Arizona Sunshine 2,
Yes.
Asgard's Wrath,
Yes.
Resident Evil,
Yes.
Vertigo 2,
Yes.
the resurrection of PlayStation VR 2.
He's not dead.
We need Astrobot 2 as well.
Definitely Astrobot, yeah. Absolutely. That needs to happen.
Yeah. See you later.
The Doctor is out.
The Doctor is out.
There it is. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah.
You made it.
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Adrian, the
Hello,
VR
man.
Catalans
How you
guy.
doing, Bob?
Nice to meet you.
Hello, Dr Oculus.
Dr. Oculus, nice to meet you.
Or Andrew.
Oh, nice to
Yeah.
meet you. Yeah, okay.
Call me Doc.
Paradise Decay!
So,
Alex,
The man, the
you
myth,
made it.
the fucking legend.
You, man. Finally
So
made
good
it.
to see you.
I know.
Oh, this is amazing. I was not expecting this welcome party.
go and get your shit sorted.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You got a mini me.
Bro, look at
Is
this.
that the one with the head missing?
That's missing the brain. Yeah. So if Harry got one of the
Yeah.
the spares and you want to splice a brain off it, go nuts.
Oh my god. That's so sick.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so nice. Thank you. Oh my god. This is
So
sick.
you're having to cart it around.
Alright, well, this trip is already worth it.
Cool. We'll be off then.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. We have to go now.
that was enough. This is so exciting.
What the hell is this?
What is?
It's a squid! Oh, PD! I love it, bro. Yeah.
It's an in
Hold on.
joke.
No, this is better. Yeah, my squid brother. PD and I have
We have a squid joke.
we have an unspoken.
Yeah.
you do.
Well, apparently he watches all my content in the shower, so
There
we're
was
putting
like
squid emojis in
there was
the
like a year there.
in the all this. Yeah, so it was a year of squid emojis.
Every time I got in the shower, I had like it was on my old phone. I don't have it anymore. I had a pop socket on my old phone, and I would put it up in my shower. When I got in there, I'd be like watching YouTube, and it would be like at noon or so after I like wake up and do like my first morning thing. I go get in the shower, and PD has always had a premiere going, like every single time. So eventually, I'm like, "Hey PD, do you know where I am right now? You know what I'm wearing right now?" And then he starts hitting me with the squid
I do
emojis.
nothing but watch your premieres and lather
That's
up.
that. That's that. Ever since then, we've been showing each other our
Just me and
squids.
my loofah with your videos.
Every time he hears that music,
Yeah.
PD's videos, he just gets the overwhelming urge to go take a shower.
Some weird Pavlov
Yeah.
dogs.
Exactly. Giant squid comes to life.
In the coast and in the center. So this is on the coast northeast.
And you're like, okay, you realize you love. You're like now, and you're like looking for the Catalonian community, and there isn't.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, now it's gonna be me. I'm just guessing here. I'm just
Okay, yeah, you can make your fiction story.